The story we're tracking, music mogul Sean Diddy Combs on suicide watch at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center.
I saw the aftermath, the bruises, the busted lip, knots on the head.
Combs is prone to violence, that he's a flight risk, that he poses a significant danger to the community. Lawsuits have been filed by inmates over the conditions as well, because back in 2019, inmates filed a $10 million class action lawsuit.
That same employee mentioned that Cassie security video, saying, "I was surprised by the level of violence that he had toward Cassie in that video."
New allegations against Sean Diddy Combs. An attorney says he represents 120 accusers who've come forward with sexual misconduct allegations.
Rap legend Sean Diddy Combs was forced into a world far different from his glamorous existence when he was arrested and held at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center. Diddy's present circumstances, which include serious charges of sex trafficking, coercion, and organized crime, stand in stark contrast to his public image, with alarming claims leveled against him. Combs' legal struggles might have a significant impact on his history, reputation, and future as he moves through the court system. After his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura filed a complaint accusing Diddy of years of abuse, including forcing her to participate in exploitative acts and physically assaulting her, Diddy's legal issues became more serious. Numerous additional accusations swiftly followed Cassie's, creating a concerning narrative of purported long-term abuse and deception.
Just a day after music mogul Sean Diddy Combs was accused of sexual assault and years of abuse in a new lawsuit filed by R&B singer Cassie, word of a settlement overnight. ABC's Morgan Norwood is here with the update. Good morning, Morgan.
Hey, good morning to you, Ariel. Though Cassie and Diddy did not detail the terms of that agreement, the settlement quickly shuts down the potential for a trial and the process of legal discovery. That's when evidence in the case is often made public. Overnight, hip-hop mogul Sean Combs settling a bombshell sexual abuse lawsuit filed by his ex-girlfriend, fellow singer Cassie. Cassandra Ventura writing in a statement, "I have decided to resolve this matter amicably on terms that I have some level of control. I want to thank my family, fans, and lawyers for their unwavering support." Combs, known as Diddy or Puff Daddy, adding in his own statement, "I wish Cassie and her family all the best. Love."
We going up, we going live. Can't stop, won't stop, told y'all.
The settlement just one day after Ventura accused the singer of rape, domestic violence, and sex trafficking, citing controlling behavior that she says lasted over a decade while she was signed to Diddy's record label and the two were in a romantic relationship. In the lawsuit filed Thursday, Ventura alleged that after the two met back in 2005, Combs lured Miss Ventura into an ostentatious, fast-paced, and drug-fueled lifestyle and into a romantic relationship with him, and that he used illegal substances and threats of violence to force Miss Ventura into repeated, unwanted sexual encounters with male sex workers. Combs denying the allegations, his attorneys describing them in a statement as riddled with baseless and outrageous lies, aiming to tarnish Mr. Combs' reputation. And right after this lawsuit was filed, several artists and entertainers have voiced their support for Cassie. Ventura's attorney saying in a statement Friday, "I am very proud of Miss Ventura for having the strength to do so, to go public with her lawsuit. She ought to be commended for doing so."
The accusations include freak-offs where Combs allegedly planned and recorded private parties without the participants' permission, according to federal investigators. Reports indicate that digital data and recordings were seized during raids of his homes by federal investigators searching for significant evidence. The investigation has raised questions about possible racketeering charges, a major development that, if proven, could carry a lengthy prison sentence. Deep-seated complaints about Diddy's behavior have surfaced as a result of his sudden fall from grace, with several close to him disclosing the strong, fear-based control he allegedly wielded over those around him.
I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor.
However, Cassie's legal team contends that if Diddy's family can publicly support him, then his accusers should also have the right to speak out. This conflict over who can speak publicly highlights the increasingly polarized public opinion on Diddy's character and the seriousness of the allegations against him. Diddy's legal team, on the other hand, has attempted to limit public discussion of the case by requesting gag orders to silence his accusers.
Mogul Sean Diddy Combs was hit with 7 new civil lawsuits alleging sexual abuse. The mounting legal battles come after federal prosecutors criminally charged him last month with sex trafficking and racketeering. Combs' lawyers asked the judge overseeing the criminal case for a gag order against Combs' accusers and their attorneys. An attorney for the accusers said the civil claims of abuse were made by 4 men and 3 women over alleged misconduct in New York, Los Angeles, and Las Vegas, dating to 2000, but mostly in 2022. Some lawsuits said other, unidentified celebrities also assaulted Combs' accusers. The 54-year-old faces at least 24 civil lawsuits accusing him of sexual misconduct. Combs has denied wrongdoing. He has also pleaded not guilty in the criminal case and is appealing his more than month-long detention in a Brooklyn jail after being denied bail twice. The new lawsuits compound the legal problems for Combs, who, according to prosecutors, coerced victims into participating in sex acts against their will, bribing and intimidating them into keeping quiet, and employing his staff to hide it all. In one new lawsuit, the plaintiff, Jane Doe, said she was 13 when Combs drugged and assaulted her at an after-party, the 2000 MTV Music Video Awards in New York. Another accuser, John Doe, said he was a 17-year-old aspiring makeup artist making small talk with Combs at a 2022 party. He said Combs drugged him with a drink and later assaulted him. In response to the lawsuits, Combs' lawyers referred to a statement addressing earlier lawsuits, saying, quote, "In court, the truth will prevail, that Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted anyone, adult or minor, man or woman." Combs faces a May 5, 2025 criminal trial on 3 felony counts of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution.
His life now is very different from his musical career. Now that the mogul is confined to a 6 by 8 foot cell, Diddy spends 23 hours a day alone with only a bunk bed, a small desk, sink, and metal mirror. His meals are simple and prepared in advance, a stark contrast to his previous lifestyle of fine dining, now including processed foods, oatmeal, and peanut butter sandwiches.
The team has also cited terrible conditions, rampant violence, multiple deaths. Diddy's team even requested at one point to transfer him to a different jail in New Jersey, but Combs' attorney Mark Agnifilo indicated at a previous court hearing, quote, "We're making a go of the MDC. The MDC has been very responsive for us." Not entirely clear what that means, but putting that to the side. To give you an idea of what we're talking about at the MDC, we talked about this on a previous sidebar. In September, 9 inmates were charged regarding a series of attacks from April to August at the MDC. This included 2 inmates being stabbed to death and another inmate being speared in the spine with a makeshift ice pick. A correctional officer was even involved in a shooting at a car during an unauthorized chase. Lawsuits have been filed by inmates over the conditions as well, because back in 2019, inmates filed a $10 million class action lawsuit over frigid conditions during an 8-day blackout. R. Kelly ended up suing the jail for wrongfully putting him on suicide watch after his sentencing in 2022. Sam Bankman-Fried, you remember the disgraced FTX founder, his attorney said that he survived on bread, water, and peanut butter because the jail didn't provide him vegan food while he was there. And apparently the conditions within this facility are so bad, they're so severe, that at least one judge refused to impose a prison sentence if it meant the defendant was going to be confined at the MDC. Back in August, U.S. District Judge Gary R. Brown of the Eastern District of New York sentenced Daniel Colucci to 9 months of imprisonment after pleading guilty to charges of tax fraud. But in a written statement, Judge Brown said if the BOP, the Bureau of Prisons, opts to designate the MDC as the relevant facility, then the imposed term of imprisonment will be vacated. And in its place, the defendant shall serve 9 months of home incarceration with electronic monitoring. Judge Brown reportedly highlighted even further examples of the MDC's failings that had occurred just in the 5 months prior to his opinion. That included a situation where incarcerated individuals were forced to provide medical care for one another because prison staff was just not available. MDC's panic button was inoperable.
Diddy is kept apart from other inmates in the special housing unit SHU because of his high-profile status. This keeps him in protective custody and lowers security risks. Every move he makes within the facility is closely monitored by multiple guards, as he is constantly at risk of being targeted because of his fame.
I also know about Diddy's stay at MDC is that he's in a protective care unit for his own safety. So that's different than general population. Can you explain that a bit to me?
Okay, so when you talk about what we normally call special housing unit, so there's 2 types of detention in terms of being in special housing. One is administrative detention, and I'll go back to that point here in a second, and then disciplinary segregation. Disciplinary segregation is for individuals who have been went through a disciplinary process for an infraction of the rules and regulations of the institution, whether it be in a fight or any other acts that go against the policies of the institution, the orderly and safe running of the institution, and that is for a specific period of time. What Mr. Combs may be in as far as administrative detention is when someone is under investigation for a possible infraction against the rules of the institution, or they could be in protective custody because they may fear of their life, which is a question probably would have been asked of him once he was in his intake process. Additionally, we're talking about someone who is high profile, who was just arrested here less than 3 weeks ago. So in terms of who are the other inmates in the institution that may or may not be someone who could be a threat towards him, in terms of the possible alleged victims, could they have ties to the victims? In terms of his discovery that he's going to need to look at with his attorney, inmates are allowed to have a certain amount of legal materials in their cell, and all this alleged discovery that he's going to have to go through. You don't want to have other inmates having access to his cell to go in and take a look at that discovery, because there's a certain amount of legal materials that each inmate is allowed to have in their cell. So there's several factors that come into play when it comes to administrative detention.
Initially put under suicide watch, MDC employees monitored Diddy around the clock to assess his mental health. His confinement illuminates the harsh reality of high-profile incarceration and the ways fame offers little solace within the legal system as he adapts to the restrictive environment and the weight of serious allegations. Judges are still not convinced that Diddy's release would be safe for the community or witnesses. Thus, despite his legal team's repeated attempts to secure his release, they have been denied.
Levine, who served 10 years in 11 federal prisons for racketeering and other charges, says it's no surprise judges are repeatedly denying bail to the wealthy rapper beyond being a threat.
Simple. Guy's a flight risk. What legal purpose would it serve to give him bail? He's in a detention center. It's like a federal jail. Those aren't for your comfort.
And Levine says that system has likely put a guy who's been living a large Hampton-style life for the past decades into shock mode.
He's not in general population. He's in a secured housing unit. They might leave him in a special housing unit for years. Imagine living in your bathroom 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you're getting your meals through the door. There's no internet and there's no computers. He'll get some visits, but it'll be abbreviated visits. They'll give him a Bible. Maybe he'll look for salvation.
With every new accuser, the federal government's case against Diddy grows stronger. The addition of RICO charges would place Diddy on par with those charged with organized crime, indicating a potential escalation that could turn his case into one of the most well-known celebrity legal battles of the decade.
Allegations against Sean Diddy Combs. An attorney says he represents 120 accusers who've come forward with sexual misconduct allegations. He expects to file civil lawsuits against the rap mogul. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky is tracking the latest. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning to you, George. If these lawsuits actually come to pass, Combs would be facing sexual misconduct allegations on an unprecedented scale. This morning, new disturbing accusations against pop mogul Sean Diddy Combs from a Texas attorney who says he represents 120 alleged victims, men and women, whose allegations span more than 30 years.
The biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world.
The accounts of the alleged victims, some of whom were children, have not been fully vetted, but their accusations involve the kind of drug-fueled recorded sexual assaults described in a dozen previous civil lawsuits and the criminal case against Combs.
What shocked me most was that it was going on openly in front of other people.
Legal experts suggest that a plea agreement might be possible if Diddy is found guilty, but only if he can provide substantial information or cooperation, which seems unlikely given his public stance and insistence on innocence. However, the likelihood of Diddy being exonerated decreases as more evidence comes to light, including possible video documentation of his alleged crimes. If convicted, Diddy could spend decades in federal prison.
Statements include descriptions of what the witness says he saw on those tapes. So I asked him about that, and he answered what he could, given the limitations imposed on him after testifying before the grand jury. Out of those 8 videos, 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women, how many of those 8 celebrities were were close to being underage or potentially underage?
2 males.
2 males. And of those 8 celebrities, how many of them were intoxicated or under the influence of drugs?
This is going to be all speculation. I just want to preface it by he wouldn't know if they were. Right.
Sure.
Appear to
Let
be.
me rephrase it.
Based on, yes.
Understand. Out of the 8 celebrities who were recorded having intimate relations with Sean Combs, how many of them appear to be either inebriated or intoxicated or under the influence?
For years, reports of Diddy's alleged abusive behavior were disregarded or minimized in the entertainment business. But his downfall serves as a reminder of how influential people may use their power to dominate and manipulate others. Former associates claim that Diddy has acted with impunity for years due to a culture of fear.
Toxic, but this is illegal behavior.
Even more shocking allegations now being revealed against P. Diddy, as former employees now allege he was physically violent, emotionally abusive, and toxic in the workplace.
This is someone who wants his inner circle to be very tight and for people to be around. And so the comfort level with that also comes with the comfort level of the physical abuse and violence. So it does not surprise me that he lays hands on his employees as well.
These former employees say Diddy grabbed, berated, and threatened them, alleging he had uncontrollable violence and created a culture of fear. These accusations, eerily similar to those we've already heard. Could all this be a pattern?
And someone doesn't just strike up that behavior once and then never do it again. That is someone who has some deep-seated anger and problems with how they express themselves.
The legacy of someone once hailed as a trailblazer and significant figure in the hip-hop industry is now in jeopardy. Although it is unclear whether Jay-Z and Beyoncé will respond, Kanye's warning has undoubtedly set the stage for a significant chapter in the entertainment industry. His words serve as a reminder to fans that Hollywood's glitz and glamour often conceal a darker reality.
A report by CNN, jurors on Thursday were expected to hear from a witness who claimed he was allegedly in possession of videos that contained footage of celebs being potentially victimized by the Bad Boy Records founder. The witness, who reportedly hasn't filed any suits against Combs and is not claiming to be a victim of him, says he has information and evidence about sexual abuse and other misconduct by Combs, some of which allegedly involve celebrities. But according to the witness's attorney, Ariel Mitchell, who also represented 2 of Combs' accusers in their lawsuit against the mogul, she said her client was subpoenaed. According to another report, the witness told TMZ he was initially contacted by federal agents with the Department of Homeland Security, and he's previously done interviews claiming he's seen salacious videos of Diddy and his celebrity friends. Sources told the outlet the subpoena from federal prosecutors asked witness to turn over all records, including thumb drives, hard drives, electronic storage devices, or devices containing videos and or other files depicting Diddy. But that witness would drop another bombshell, as he claims he was given 11 flash drives containing at least 8 sex tapes involving 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women. Courtney Burgess told News Nation's Banfield on Thursday among the 8 celebrities who were Combs' alleged victims, about 2 to 3 appeared to be minors. Burgess told Ashley Banfield in an interview with his attorney Ariel Mitchell, every single celebrity appeared to be under the influence in the tapes and were seemingly victims, not perpetrators. Burgess told Ashley Banfield he was working in Atlanta when his former associate Kim Porter, the ex-girlfriend and mother of 4 of Diddy's children, shared the flash drives with him.
That's it for today's Video Gaze. Make sure to subscribe our channel for more videos.